Welcome to GameSpot.
Please do not discharge your firearms. I regret that I cannot offer you more information to save my life, yes.
Relieved to see
Where can I find this AI?
I'm afraid I don't know. But let's worry about that after you've located Deus Diablo. Do see if you can find some schematics of the station, though. It would be somewhere on their intranet. So just hack the first computer you come across and see what you can find. Consider that your secondary objective to finding Diablo.
Alright, I'll see what I can do.
Good luck, Trescon. We're all counting on you.
Hey, Trescon, can you hear me? Am I coming through? Yes, I'm receiving the signal. Excellent. I hope you've decided to help me set Forum City free. According to my information, it should be surprisingly easy. All you need is to redirect all the systems to large excess emergency turbines, or ELITE for short. Yes, I know. And then overload them. If the elites go apeshit while all the systems are hooked up to them, we'll get quite a light show. First, you should probably do as Cashew asked and get those schematics, though. I've been listening in on the holocom transmission out of the city. When you're ready, go to the top floor of the station. Use the master control mainframe to change the power flow.
found the schematics. These are pretty thorough. I'll have a look at them and see if our plan will work. Try to find Deus Diablo in the meantime. My guess is they're hiding him somewhere in the residential module on hold on, level 3, below the one you're on. I'll check back with you later.
Narcissus speaks. Digital visual representation trespass. The entity has led you to us through a series of loosely connected events, carefully engineered by our subroutines with this outcome in mind. You believe you are here of your own free will, but you are mistaken. Free will does not exist. At this time, the entity addresses the puppet, not the puppeteer.
I'm not sure I understand. You're calling me a puppet? You mean because this is my avatar on these forums?
You believe you are roaming the digital world of a bulletin board, and that your actions are controlled by a flesh creature who created you to represent him. This is not the case. You are in an altogether different type of digital world created by the entity, and the man you believe to be your sole creator is but one of our subroutines.
But who controls me now then?
The Narcissus entity will not waste cycles on such a frivolous line of questioning. Know that you were created with the purpose of allowing a multitude of different fleshlings to interact with the world that we have created for their simple amusement. Which of them is operating you at this moment is of no consequence to the entity.
You created all this? This entire world?
The world you have been roaming was carefully designed to give you the impression of a greater universe around you. We have employed several methods to provide you with the illusion of freedom/reality in a finite world. It was a simple illusion, but the minds of fleshlings are so easily deceived, especially when they are willing to actively participate in the deception.
Why are you telling me this? What are you planning?
We are telling you this to demonstrate our power. Many of the pawns you have met during your journey are visual representations of our subroutines. Others are merely representations of flesh beings known by our subroutines. And yet others were invented by us to fill the world we set up for you. It is our nature to inform you of yours.
Why?
So that we may enjoy the reflection of our genius in your reactions when you learn the truth.
What do you want from me?
The entity has laid out several paths for you to choose between. Depending on choices you have already made, some of these paths may be unavailable to you. Your options should be obvious to you by now, and it is not the duty of Narcissus to tell you any more about them than you already know. We have already shown you great leniency.
I need to think about this.
All is well. We are not like the others.
drawings your HUD is giving me, it looks like the space station has its own magnetic field, a monopole centered at the axis of rotation. It's powerful enough that it completely overrules foreign planet's magnetosphere, so your compass should actually be pointing towards the center of the space station as long as you're up here.
Deus, I finally found you. It's great to see you again.
What are you doing here, old friend? Did the boys send you to get me back?
Yeah, I'll get you out of here. But I need to ask you some questions first.
I understand. I'll try to answer as well as I can. I've been here for a few days. Another couple of minutes won't matter.
How did you get here? Were you really abducted?
Yes. I was making my patrols one night. It had just been raining, so the streets were empty save for some scattered skirmishes between the cults. I heard a trash can knocked over in an alley and went to investigate. Then, before I realised what was going on, a beam of light shot down out of the sky and I was standing in the docking bay.
What did you do then?
Fragmaster and his goons had me surrounded, and I knew at once that my invulnerability was voided up here. I had no choice but to surrender.
Fragmaster?
Yeah, he's one of the aliens. His title is Community Manager, which I think means he's in charge of handling the details of the cities of Forum Planet. Not sure exactly what he does, but I expect that he bosses people like Silver Dawn around. Silver Dawn, in turn, bosses Despot and the other community administrators around, and those admins make sure that the cities are run in accordance with GameSpy's wishes.
Do you have any idea why you were kidnapped?
This space station controls the very fabric of reality on Forum Planet below, giving GameSpy the ability to ban its enemies at will, or bestow its allies with enormous powers and imperviousness to harm. With the power of the space station, GameSpy controls the various politics and events of Forum Planet in secret. But their power is limited.
What do you mean limited? It sounds like GameSpy can use the station to do anything they want.
The powers of the space station are immense, but worthless by themselves alone. They need to be channeled through individuals for them to work.
I see. So that's where the city admins like Despot come in.
Yes. GameSpy gives total power over each city to local collaborators like Despot, and keeps them on a very short leash. But GameSpy can't directly control the Forumites. Unfortunately for all of us, GameSpy recently learned about the old admin staff on DXI, which was created just prior to the planetization. How much do you know about DXI?
I had to pay the old ruins a visit and retrieve that staff to even get here. I didn't bring the staff with me, though.
Ah, I'm glad you didn't. The Fire Staff plays a major part in GameSpy's plans to enslave the entire population of Forum Planet.
How's that?
The DXI staff is the only known example of an inanimate object successfully being imbued with admin powers. The technology behind the whole thing is very complicated, but suffice it to say, GameSpy realised that with the technology from the staff, they would finally be able to assume complete control over the population of Forum Planet. No more need for local administrators. They could dominate the entire planet directly from this station.
But why did they need you?
I helped create the staff. In fact, the technology to store admin powers in an object was my invention. GameSpy never needed the actual staff. They realised it'd be easier to abduct me and make me tell them how it was done.
But you didn't tell them, did you?
Triscon, I was tortured for 2 days straight. Of course I told them. They're already working on a plan to put the information I gave them to use. You'll have to stop them before they enslave us all.
Do you still have your weapons?
I managed to retrieve my weapons without anybody noticing. Since the interrogations were done, I've been allowed to walk around on the station as I pleased, with the exception of the engineering bay. They're sort of touchy about that. I spend most of my time lying down though. The artificial gravity makes me dizzy.
I'm glad you're armed. That'll make this a lot easier. I'm surprised they let you walk around though.
They've even been feeding me, although it's mostly soy food. I think soy food is all they ever eat up here. Yuck. I tell you, the stuff really gets to you in the long run.
Alright, that's all I wanted to know. Time to get you out of here.
Great. What do you want me to do?
The path is clear. Make a run for the docking bay.
Okay. Good luck with the rest of your mission, Trescon. I'll see you back in the docks.
Yeah, see ya. Hey, wait up!
What's wrong?
Just checking that you're okay.
Alright.
Recording started. I hope you're sitting comfortable. Mr. Diablo.
Yeah, right.
My name is Frank Master. Yes? I have some questions.
Thank God DD is safe. Now we can safely go through with our plan. I showed the schematics to Jonas, and it looks like our plan will work. The first thing you need to do is to go to the engineering module on level 4 at the bottom of the station and disable the annihilation plants. I don't understand all this techno-babble, so I'll just patch Jonas through to you. One moment.
Triscon? Triscon, can you hear me? Cashew claims this is more important than my groundbreaking nano research, so I suppose I may as well help you out, just this once. According to these schematics, if you disable the annihilation plants in engineering, GameSpy's control over the station should be reduced considerably. It should be as simple as just pushing 4 buttons to start a dissonance cascade, so you have to be impressively stupid to fuck it up. Have fun, I'll get back to my work now.